Welcome to another episode of Inside the Playbook with. In my episode tonight, I'm going to have my dear friend, my colleague, one of the guys I coach with at a couple different spots. His name is Coach David March. First met him when I was coaching at Cal State Dominguez Hills. I had a chance and opportunity to be with him and just learn the ropes with him. He's taught me a lot. A lot of the basketball things that I know. I've learned and pulled from different coaches, and just wanted to get his thoughts and pick his brains a little bit about what has worked for him over his journey. His journey being a coach. So that's what this is all about. Inside the Playbook, just going in the playbook of each coach that I bring on each episode. And in this case, it's Coach David March. So stay tuned and help me welcome Coach David March. Coach, can you hear me?
I got you, my man. What's happening?
Nah, everything is cool. How's everything? How's the family? And how you all doing tonight?
Living that socially distanced dream, baby. Sitting on Zooms all day, teaching. Getting my house ready.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're pretty busy, and you're off doing all that stuff. So again, welcome to the show Inside the Playbook with. Of course, you're my special guest tonight. So do me a favor and just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and where you're at for the audience, for the viewers that do not know who you are.
All right, what's up, everyone? I'm Dave March. I'm currently the Varsity boys basketball coach at Segundo High School. It's my alma mater. It was a dream job. Luckily came a dream come true for me. I've had a little bit of a coaching journey, been coaching over 20 years. Lucky enough to be at the high school, junior college, and obviously hanging out with my boy, Bulgarian, at the D2 level for a little bit. But yeah, man, that's me. For real work, I'm a teacher. I'm a PE teacher at El Segundo High School. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently the middle school athletic director for El Segundo, so keeps me busy.
I bet. So you know what? Yeah, out of all the times that we had the chance to sit down talking about basketball, mostly about X's and O's and other things that we'll not.
Hey man, we can talk about whatever. I'm open.
but like I remember you telling me that is your alma mater, and you played.
Yes, sir.
And you played for El
Coach
Segundo.
Shabosky.
So tell me a little bit about that as far as you being a player, and then how did you transition and who was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration as far as getting into coaching after your senior year? I don't know if you played a little bit of college ball, but yeah, just walk us through that as far as the inception, the start of you coaching.
Got it. So for me personally, I was a late bloomer, man. I was a baseball kid my whole life. I didn't pick up a basketball till my sophomore year of high school. So I'm one of those weird kids that, started on sophomore basketball and I was, 5'8", 5'9", couldn't make a layup, couldn't shoot a free throw. Didn't know what the hell basketball was. And I worked really hard at it, had a good growth spurt. My junior year, I was maybe 6 feet, 6'1". Ended up playing on the JV team as a junior. Then my senior year, I was lucky enough to get brought up. I made the team, ended up starting for some of the year and, really developed a lot of friendships with those guys. For me, it was just fun to be a part of the team. I had no expectations. I wasn't trying to play in college. I wasn't that dude that was playing AAU basketball. It was just, hey, I had a bunch of friends on the team. We loved El Segundo. We loved each other. We loved hooping. It was different back then, man. There wasn't, social media and all the craziness today. We just played ball and, hung out at the liquor store, played video games, and had little NBA Jam tournaments and whatnot. So, for me, when that ended, it was like, okay, I got to go to college and get a career, right? So for me, went to college. I started the JUCO route, try to save a little money. Could have probably tried out.
Where'd you go to JUCO? I just remember you going to Long Beach State.
It was a long story, bro. So I was supposed to go to LMU, but I'm broke, so couldn't afford all that.
Yeah.
So I had to do a little detour when my financial aid didn't come what I thought it was going to be. So made a U-turn, had a couple years over there at Elko, had some friends on the team. It just wasn't me, man. I loved the game. I loved the fun side of it, but the 6 a.m. workouts and the travel and all the extra stuff, it wasn't me. And, I was lucky enough to get an opportunity from Coach Shabosky, who's a longtime coach at El Segundo, my mentor in the Hall of Fame, at the college level, whatnot. He said, hey, I know you're kind of out. I need a freshman coach. Are you interested? And so I literally started coaching right after high school.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you talk about, there was no social media back in the day, and
Nope.
I'm just like you. Like, I barely even made it to the park because mom's was like, does it
Yep.
cost money? Nah, you ain't
Yep.
going. So it was for us, my AAU and my battlegrounds and learning was either, at my Uncle Al's house. Shout
Yep.
out to my Uncle Al, or the guys in the neighborhood. Almost
Yep.
everybody had a court,
Yep.
hanging on top of the garage. So that was back then. That was like 80s for us, in the 80s and early 90s. But
Yep.
so yeah, so you're the freshman coach. You're going through the
Okay.
freshman coach. And are you the head freshman coach?
Yeah. So
For
me and
that
my
team?
boy, shout out to Chris Saboski. We split it. We were like co-head coaches for 2 years. And then I moved up and I was the JV coach for 2. And it was good, man. I was such a sponge at that time. I was going to school. I just finished up at Elko and was at Cal State Long Beach. And my first love was basketball. I really can't explain it, dude. NBA game, college game, high school game. Like I couldn't get enough of it, man. I love the X's and O's side. It was always kind of, for certain people, it works for me. I can't explain it, but I can see it. So it just was fun to always keep learning and trying to get better and, try to learn from different coaches, different people. So I did that and then did a couple of years at St. Monica's. I was the varsity assistant there while I was teaching math, and I was really the golf coach. So I don't know if you know that, but, I love golf. I did a couple of years as the boys and girls golf coach there. I was the varsity girls and the assistant to the boys coach. Shout out to my boy, Coach Tinnell. Love you, brother. And, man, just grinding there. Then I went back to school, and I went back to Dominguez because I was teaching. That those paydays a little different without a credential. I think I started making 28.5 my first year teaching private school. Living tough. So I had to go back to school, got my credential, and man. Shortly after that, I met you, D Hills, baby.
D Hills. That's great. So, I mean, you talk about your mentors. You talk about Saboski
Yep.
and some of your other guys. Like, what can you say? As far as not just of those individuals, but as far as like what were they able to pass down to you that has been helping you throughout your career, throughout your experience as being
Definitely.
a coach?
Having Coach Saboski as my mentor, like, it was everything. The guy was like a dad to me. Growing up, single mom, living that life. Having your coaches by your side they were like dads to you. So having him there as a father figure, as someone that cared about you, that you always thought had your best interests at heart. I just learned, how to be a good person, how to have a good character. And on the basketball side, man, the guy's a genius. I mean, we always were the have-nots. We had to find ways to win. So you name it, man, junk defense, box and ones, triangle and twos, funky drills, like unorthodox offenses, whatever we had to do, we did it, man. And to his credit, we found a way to win a lot of games.
Are you still finding yourself kind of using some of those, those strategies that he's laid down since you were being a player?
Yeah, man, you can never forget who's kind of put those footprints on you, right? So I look back at my career, and I've been really blessed to work with head coaches, that gave me a lot of just kind of freedom to do what I enjoyed. It wasn't like, hey, go do this, go do that. It was more, hey, coach, what do you like? What are you good at? Let's find a plan, right? So I think anytime you're with a coach that knows how to really communicate well and can communicate with his assistant coaches, it just makes the experience that much better. So yeah, for Saboski, it was great, man. He kind of let me dive in and, do things I enjoy. We did a lot of player development, worked on the defensive side a lot. Then I moved on to D Hills and I learned Coach Powell, that's the guy, man. I learned so much about man-to-man defense. Drill I still use today. I mean, it was like a whole new world to come from a zone program and, box and one, triangle two, inverted triangle and two, like crazy face guarding rules, all this 2-3 trap stuff we do. And they're like, all right, guys, we're playing man the entire season.
Right.
It's like, damn, I better learn how to coach man a lot better.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man.
We just had Coach Ward. He set it off. He was the first one to bat for this series. I know you watched him last week. Coach
Yes,
Ward,
sir.
Ward out there, Slidell,
Ward.
North Shore.
That's
boys
my dude.
basketball. Hope you're watching tonight or catch us. But I'm trying to get you, Coach Powell, if you're watching. I know I just sent you the link, brother. I want
Man,
you to. Hopefully, I can get you on the show and get you on an episode as well. So, but yeah, again, everybody, you are watching HBTV. This is Inside the Playbook with my guest tonight, Coach David March. So, a little bit about our history, me and Coach March. I did mention
just a little, bro. Just a
just
little.
just a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. So
Not the whole history. You know, it's a family television show.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I met this guy at D Hills. So we didn't really meet at D Hills. So I think
Nah.
we were at Centennial.
Centennial.
We were at Centennial. So he remembers
Yes,
this
sir.
night really well. We were at Centennial, and he was there. I remember Coach Ward and I went out to go watch the game. We were high on Bryce Davis. Shout out to Bryce. I hope you're watching tonight or catch it as well. You know that's the guy right there.
Yes,
He
sir.
was high on Bryce. I was actually high on your guard. I forgot his name.
Justin Johnson. Yep.
Justin, yeah, he was. I felt that man, this is some guy that we can really use, and he was great. I don't know where he ended up playing, maybe Irvine or something like that. But he was great. So, anyways, after the game, I go up to Coach March. I go up to you and say, hey, man, how was your guard? This and that. Is he going anywhere? How's he doing? March turned to me. He just looked at me and said, "Yeah," and just started walking away. I was like, "Wow, dude, this guy's big timing me over here at Centennial High School." And Coach Ward, a little bit later, was like, "Oh yeah, we're getting that guy on the staff." I was like, "Oh, here we go." So
it was the best thing that ever happened to you, bro.
It's best thing that ever happened. Best thing that
Yeah.
ever happened. Learned so much
Yeah.
from this guy. Became really great friends, family. He's even a godfather to my oldest, to May, to Maylani, and I love this guy for sure. So, just going back, D Hills, you just got out of high school environment. You're getting into D Hills D2, Division II basketball. So how was that like, and what were you preparing yourself mentally? You did touch upon a little bit about, hey, you're coming from a zone predominant program. Now you're going into man-to-man. And other things, and just dealing with with adults, young adults, a little bit older than high school. So how was that transition for you, and what were you thinking at that time?
Man, to be honest, I was excited for the opportunity. Like I've been kind of looking at the college level, and I was asking around, and if the doors are kind of closed for someone that doesn't play at the college level typically, and we can all agree on that. You've had that route. We can agree it's a little tougher if you don't play the college level, have a walk-on spot somewhere after, grad assistant type thing. So for me, just being a dude that was just, assistant coach out of high school, lower level guy, just loved ball, it was like a great opportunity. I would, for me at least, it was like, let's go learn something. I was excited about the opportunity. I want to learn something. Like, let's go all in. I was excited about learning how to recruit. I never recruited before. I wasn't really on the academic side of the high school because most of our kids are pretty good. 3-5 and higher kids, high academic kids at El Segundo, so I didn't have to worry about that as much. So it was really fun to kind of see the grad path. I'd been in school enough to understand how that works. And then, just it's a different level. So I really wanted to see, what's it like? Can I personally make it at this level as a coach? So I was just grinding every day trying to learn. Coach Powell would be calling me, Ward would be calling me, you'd be calling me. I watched more film probably that year we were together than my whole life combined, man. I just didn't want to feel like I wasn't prepared. I had a great opportunity to just, my life kind of fit that year, that first year we were together where I had some free time and I just dove head in, man.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. There's one thing to say about, for myself, as the real baseline of where I got receive a lot of my instruction and my education and coaching is actually that D Hill staff. And one thing I learned, especially from Ward, being with him in close quarters and just seeing how the guy operates, man. There's the guy was just on level 50. I was at level 6. This guy's at level 50, and his work ethic was just something unmatched. And he was always high energy. I'd be high, and I'm like, I gotta take a chill pill and just sit back. And so something with him that I noticed. And then for you yourself, you talk about film and you talk about watching it. And I remember one time at your house, at your mom's house, we were hanging out, and you brought out the PlayStation 2. and you're like, hey man, let's just break down film. I go, what are you talking about? And you just
Yeah.
had stacks and film, and we were just
Yeah.
going through it, and
Yeah.
which was kind of cool because I've never done that, and I've never experienced that you do have to do that to become a better coach. I believe after seeing
Yeah.
what you guys do, you and Coach Ward do, and what Coach Powell has done. So do you find yourself still using those things, those little things that you worked at D Hills, and finding from those coaches like Coach Powell and Coach Ward? Do you still use a lot of that at El Segundo High School, and even at your other experiences like at Harbor Junior College with Coach Coach Carter? I'm gonna call him Coach
depends
Carter.
on what side of the 110 you're on, bro. It's either Coach Carter, or Coach Loza, or Coach Carter.
Coach Loza, yeah,
Shout
Coach
out to my
Carter
boy.
Loza. I got to say Coach Carter. He's an old
Yeah.
Bishop head coach. Some
Yes,
of my
sir.
guys played for him, so shout out to Coach Carter, Coach Loza. So I mean, like you still use all that stuff. You still
Definitely.
that's still in your playbook, right?
I mean, as a coach, you just learn from people. And the thing, going back a step, man, like when I got the D Hills job, it was so apparent that Ward was the hardest working guy I've ever been around.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I took it personal. I wasn't going to let Ward outwork me.
Yeah.
So he was getting real money. I was getting fake money. But I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to put in as many hours as I can. Like, I'm going to go to every game I can go to,
Mm-hmm.
watch whatever film I can go to, get in the study hall with dudes, like go shooting with guys. Like, I just didn't want to feel like Ward was outworking me. And I took it like as a personal challenge. Obviously, he did because that's who he is. But I didn't want to wake up one morning and be like, man, Ward kicked my ass yesterday and put in, more hours than me. And with Powell, like, dude, Powell is such a defensive brain,
Yeah.
I really just immersed myself in trying to figure out, okay, what is this guy thinking? Like, how is he going to stop people? We'd be breaking down different ways to double the post. I was like, well, damn, we got 4 ways to double the post. I knew 1 or 2 were pretty good, but, we got 4 today. So, just how to guard screens. Like, the 3-on-3 drills we did at Dominguez Hills, I still do with my teams now. Guarding a flex screen, guarding the back screen, guarding on balls. Like, I love that stuff. Just teaching kids how to play basketball. And then with you, you and I had a whole other situation we'll talk about on camera, but we try to outdo something with each other. But I don't know if basketball is involved, but yeah.
But yeah, so going back to you and Ward and
my bad.
Who can outwork each other on those hours? Let me tell you something. I had the best seat in the house watching the both of you go at it and go work. Now going back to one thing that I had I pulled from Coach Ward and Coach Powell what they were saying, but they frequented visiting other people's programs, other people's basketball teams. Like for yourself, how do you feel about that? Do you promote that and learning from other coaches as well?
Yeah, man, I love it. Like one of the funnest times for me is in the summer. Now I'm a high school coach. Summer is a big deal. I don't coach AAU. I've been offered numerous times to jump on different programs. That's not something I'm really interested in doing. I just like being affiliated with El Segundo. That's my hometown. It's my school. My kids live there. I live there. They're in school there. So for me personally, I just love that side of it. And in the summer is great, man. Coach will come up like, hey, how'd you run that? Or I'll see something really cool. But hey, man, what did you there? Or, can you show me your offense? I'll sit in the bleachers with the guys before and after games with a whiteboard. And we'll just, go after it. And to me, that's the fun side of it. Like, I really enjoy the learning side of it.
No, that's great. I remember one of the opportunities that I had with Coach Ward and Coach Powell. We went to a UCLA practice.
Yeah.
And just watching those guys practice, and you do learn a lot. You do learn a lot from watching what they do, how they just from running their drills, or even
the intensity level.
Yeah, the intensity level, and even just how you see other coaches interact beginning of the practice, middle of the practice, and then after the practice as well. So you just take those notes, which is great. So I even got to see Coach Mitchell, who was going to be one of my coaches in 1990 at Bishop Montgomery High School.
Man,
I
dating yourself, brother.
It's all good. And that was his first year. And I went up to him. I said, Coach, you don't remember me, but I was supposed to play for you in 1990. And he was like, oh, man. But ended up going to Banning and playing in Carson as well. But again, everybody, you guys are watching HBTV Inside the Playbook with my dear guest tonight, Coach David March. So, Coach, like going back from your experiences, right? You've been working at all different levels, and with that, you had a chance to work at the different levels with these different kids, different students. right? So what do you take from each level, and do you see, are there the commonalities, or do you have to really work a certain way with one age group, this type of
Yeah,
player,
yeah.
etc.?
I think for me, the reality is if kids really think you care about them and you're trying to do what's best for them, it doesn't matter if it's middle school, high school, junior college, or the 4A level, man. People just want to believe in who you are as a person and know what you're doing is making them better on and off the court. And as you continue to show them success, specifically on the court, but eventually off the court, then, they're going to run through a wall for you. And I'd say for the most part of my career, I think kids have really worked hard and believed in what I've done and, took my work ethic on the court and, played a tough level of basketball I believe in.
Can you think of an experience you had, whether at the high school, colleges, whatever, where you confronted or met that kid, that student, that player, that kind of was just so raw, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm gonna help this guy. I'm gonna get him through, and tell us about that, and what happened with that player.
I don't want to put names out there, but,
Sure.
I did 8 years at LA Harbor College, 4 as the associate head coach, 4 once I had Blake and Jordan right after I demoted myself to a volunteer assistant because I couldn't put the time in. But, at Harbor, we got these kids that, no scholarships, just want to hoop. It's like their way out, right? They're just trying to find a way to get to college. And, I had a couple kids there that to today I'll see out, and, it's like family, man. It's love. Just these kids, they're raw and they need to learn how to do things in the classroom and on the court, but you watch them grow for, 2 or 3 years with you at the JUCO. They go on to get degrees, and I'm looking at them now. They're grown men, man. They're in their communities. They got families. They're, pillars of their community, showing other people what you can do with the right work ethic, the right attitude. So, for me personally, there's nothing better than that. That's why I got into coaching, because we all know it's not for the money.
Yeah, and you bring out two things I want to talk to you about. We'll talk about that money situation, but the first one, and hopefully I remember the second one, but the first one, as far as you want them to be successful now at El Segundo, after all your experiences, what type of things are you trying to put in place as far as helping them academically? Do you have anything like, hey, summers you're going to have internships here, or we're going to go to a trip here and expose you to all this stuff? Because like you said, it's all about being successful, growing as an individual in your community. Not everybody's going to have that chance to go to the D1, D2, D3,
No.
NAIA. So as far as a coach and just helping these guys grow, tell us a little bit about either programs you have been involved with and had those in place, or even at El Segundo now.
I think the best is just kids have to know that you're watching them. I know it sounds a little cliche, but, just having programs in place where they see that, okay, coach knows what my GPA is. And I'll pull kids in the office. I do grade checks. I talk to different teachers. We find ways to work out problems. As long as you stay on top of kids and say you believe in them and they actually believe that you believe in them, it's a miracle what these young people can do today. We didn't have the same resources back in the day. They got things like Power School where your parents see your grade the same night, and that. You got 2 kids, obviously, and, access to teachers. We didn't have this kind of access growing up. Parents didn't get a hold of me 24 hours a day. So just the access, the ability for them to get on, and just for me to show them the right path, I think that, and I've been blessed, I'm not going to lie. El Segundo, we got a lot of high academic kids.
Yeah.
We have a lot of kids that choose to go to college and not play Division III. So for me, it's been, a little bit on the easier side, but just the kids that need that help, man, it's fun to get in my office. Okay, what's going on in this class? Why isn't this assignment turned in? What's going on here? Okay, let's get your books out. I got an hour. What can we do? Just giving them that time they need to know that someone's there for them.
Yeah, and it's always challenging. No matter where you are. I know you guys have that pool of kids academically. They're pretty cool with it, but there's the other programs that we've been involved with. May need a little help, may need that time. And like you said, if you just show them that you're watching, which we were, especially at D Hills and at
a lot of watching.
College. A lot of watching.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, you help them get through it, and all that good stuff. So again, everyone,
Yeah.
you're watching HBTV, the show, HBTV. I'm sorry, Inside the Playbook, with my special guest tonight, Coach David March. Going with, just touch upon this, right? So you're saying we know you're not going to get rich being a coach, right?
Damn
You're
it.
not going to be
All
rich.
right.
So
Don't tell my wife,
from
bro.
your words. So from your words, break it
Yeah.
down from a high school coach. Like what's it involve as far as salary? How much you get paid every month?
Man.
And things like that.
I
What
mean,
do you
that's-
need to do to keep up the funding for your own program?
Oh man, now you're gonna make me cry on camera, bro. I only did it at D Hills for the road stipends.
Exactly.
Nah, but I mean, most high school coaches, I have to check the scale. I think LA Unified's in the 2,000 range. My district's, in the 3,000 range. You really got to do it for the love. Thankfully for me, I'm a teacher on campus and it all fits.
And you're saying 2,000 range? Is that 2,000 a month?
Come on, brother, 2,000 for the year.
Just try to clarify, man. Just
Hey,
so everybody hears it.
Yeah, 2,000 for the year. I think I'm blessed to make like 3,000 something. I never look because it just makes me more depressed when I look. But yeah, so it's a one-time. After the season, they throw a little money on your check to make you feel better. But every school has it different. I'm not gonna lie. I hear some stories about certain high schools that get paid in the summer. They run team camps, and I think the trend right now, a lot of the South Bay schools are going to, booster clubs are doing most of the fundraising. Booster clubs do most of the side hustle, taking care of the coaches. They do a lot of stuff in the summer for the coaches. We do not have that at my school. My summer program's on me, all the scheduling, making sure we budget for it. Everything we do is, the school supports us the best they can. They give us a stipend every year for the program, but it only goes so far. And thankfully, I've been blessed to work with a really good athletic director and a great principal, and everyone does what they can to help us. So. But yeah, I did not get into coaching to be rich, or teaching for that matter, just to make that clear too.
Yeah, a lot of people have that misconception that it's glorified. You're going to be a coach. The John Bosco's out there, coaching at those places, but not everybody gets that opportunity to coach at those kind of schools for that. So, really quick, off the top of your head, if you can. What are 5 points? What are 5 points to make sure that your program is running successfully?
Man, you're putting me on the spot on that one.
Well,
I didn't write nothing down.
Just off the top of your head, what do you use?
I don't do points, bro. I just show up and work, man. I'm a grinder. But going back a step to mess your whole interview process up.
Yeah.
I learned at a young age, man. Anytime that you, if you go to work,
yeah,
it's not really like work. So I really love what I do. I teach PE. I get to weightlift with my class. I got a 6th-period basketball class that I get to play basketball with. So I just really enjoy what I do. I don't want to sound pessimistic and like, I don't get paid enough. That's not it, man. Every day I go to work, it's not work. It's just fun.
Absolutely.
And at my school, man, there's so much like school pride. Like just to be on campus is such a cool feeling to see the kids. This week is Spirit Week. They're dressed up and they're even on their Zooms dressed up, right?
Yeah.
The teachers are all involved, and we get home games, the band and the crowd, and we have a Ruthless Rooter section. Just it's like a thing to do in town. So I remember back in the day people chanting when we were playing there, and then coaching there, and now coaching as a head coach, it just feels so good to have that community feel. So
no, that's great, and a lot of programs they do lack that. They do lack that.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I was asking you about some points about running your programs, right, or running a basketball program is because I kind of want to just segue into what I got today from Coach Jerry Hernandez. And I want to share this with you and also with all of our viewers out there. So this is actually a book, 600 Little Things, right? 600 Little Things that make a big difference for boys and girls basketball coaches by Coach Jerry Hernandez. A foreword by Coach Tim Floyd, right? So yeah, this guy out in Louisiana, one of Coach Ward's guys, right? Coach Ward got to coach with him, and during this COVID era, from March until now, he actually decided to do something during this time and write this little book. So just wanted to share with you, and I'll go get you a copy, as well. Actually, I don't know if I can get you this one like this, but this one is actually signed by Coach Hernandez. He's actually gonna be a guest on this show as well.
I'll have to check it out.
Over this, but yeah, just 600 little things that can help out with running a program, and I'm pretty sure he has some nice gems in here that he would love to share with everybody, and I'd love to get this book to you as well as soon as I can get another copy with it. But everybody's
I love this shameless plug, dude.
Another shameless what?
I love the shameless plug. That was dope. Yeah, you're like professional, man. I feel like you've done this so good. Like I'm out in left field right now. And you're just killing this interview, and I'm falling apart.
Hey, I'm not ashamed of the shameless interviews. Again, 600 plus little things to run your program for boys and girls. Everybody go out there and get it if you're thinking about being a coach. And it just doesn't have to be for basketball. It could be for all of the other disciplines in sports. Shoots, maybe we can get that to some of your coaches there at El Segundo. Yeah, that's another plug. What about that, March?
Can they read? I don't know. Hey, but all joking aside, okay, so you want me to really talk about what my program is, so I'll keep messing around. So,
for sure.
I've always believed in toughness, so our first kind of thing is toughness. We do toughness drills every day in practice. When you go through my program, by the time you're done, I want you to be not only tough on the court, but off the court, handle adversity. We do all types of toughness drills. And the kids just learn that, today's going to be a battle. So when we go on the road and, we're, I guess I could say, lucky enough to be in the Ocean League, go to some schools where, my center's 6'2" and their point guard's 6'3". We just got to be tough. We got to battle.
Okay, so toughness, get on there with toughness, and what else? What else do you guys?
Fundamental, man. Like we coach Saboski drilled in fundamentals for me as a young player and a young coach, and he did all types of jump stop, pivots, jump stop pass backs, V cuts, L cuts. Bryce and I, shout out to Bryce Davis on my staff. He played. You mentioned him a little earlier. We talked about this stuff a lot, just how much both of us played for Coach Saboski and just the grind of learning how to be a fundamental basketball player. So I love to teach these kids how to be fundamental. So when I look at my team, number one, we're tough. Number two, we're fundamental. Three, we're defensive minded. Like we are a defensive program.
Yeah.
We honestly set probably basketball back, 50, 60 years, the last couple of years we've been coaching. We've been winning games like 42, 36, 39,
the Adolph Rupp era? You guys are in the Adolph Rupp era? Like what's going on?
The crazy part is there is a shot clock, right? So how am I doing this, right? But
yeah.
It's something that we just do. We run a lot of delay offense. We run a lot of stack, a lot of 5-out false motion. We take a lot of shots against the shot clock. I train our kids to be tough and play that way. And the minute other schools have to do it, they don't like it.
Yeah.
You brought up Floyd. I remember as a young coach, Coach Floyd saying, he did something effective playing a man but face guarding the other team's two best players and making the three worst team players beat you on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's something that I always really believed in. So we do that as a program also. And you're a dude used to getting 20, 25 a game, and the first quarter is over, you got one shot attempt. When you start touching that rock, man, it's a little different world. So the shot goes up when it probably shouldn't, and guys start pressing and forcing. It just plays into my guys' hands. So, we've always kind of believed in keeping the score down. We're really into defense. We're really into rebounding. That's something we focus a lot on. Rebounding to me is a lot about desire. Are you willing to hit someone? Can you box someone out? It's kind of not cool. It's not AAU cool to rebound and play defense, but, it wins games.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing, for my coaches and my kids, we run an analytical program. I always tell them, tape don't lie. I write it on the board. It doesn't. Stats don't lie. We have a rule. I say we don't hide from the truth. We are who we are, and I talk about it every day. As a program, we are who we are. I can't make you who you aren't, but we can play as who we are.
Exactly.
We try to find what we can be good at, what we compete at, what keeps us in games. And for me personally, I wouldn't want to play for me in a lot of ways. Even in adult leagues, I'm like throwing the ball full court. I'm shooting NBA threes. I'm doing just dumb stuff because that's who I am as a player. But, to win at the league I was in and the kids that I have, I take my hat off to how hard they worked and just the sacrifices they would make. We come in the gym and people would be laughing at us sometimes and, look at that team. But we found a way to be successful, 3 straight winning records. So
you mentioned Coach Floyd. Are there any other than Saboski and some of the coaches that we named?
Yep.
Are there any other coaches out there that influenced you as far as your coaching techniques?
I got to give my boy Coach Carter Loza, Coach Loza, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of love, man. I mean, I did 8 years with him. The first 4, we were working at the middle school together, LA Unified. Kind of made it like a real full-time college job. We'd be breaking out film at lunch and practice planning on the blacktop. And, you know, what he does at his school and his level, being a true have-not, you know, it's kind of unmatched in the JUCO. And I was blessed enough to win a league title with him there and kind of help turn that program around. So, you know, Coach Loza for me has been one of the big influences, especially how to deal with big numbers. You know, like the way he grinds out his practice planning and, you know, puts guys in positions and it's always moving, always flowing. I think I learned so much, not only to handle situations, but how to practice plan and how to grind. And it's funny now because, you know, Komai says, like, man, your practice plan is so detailed and it's so smooth. And I'm like, I'm really just doing what he did. And a lot of the drills that I do at El Segundo, him and I developed, or he developed and I stole, you know, or we work to make better collectively. So, you know, for me, putting in 8 years with him and still being around his program, it's been a true learning experience.
Right. So we're coming up to kind of the end of our time with each other, but I always ask this of the coaches of guests that are on my show. Like, you know, you meet a very young person who wants to be a coach, whether it's a male or a female, just about to graduate, probably college or something like that, or even high school, and they have that interest of wanting and becoming a coach. What message or advice would you give that individual who wants to be that coach nowadays?
I'd tell them to go get a real job. I'd tell them to go find a job that help them get a house, a family.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing. You just gotta love it, man. There's really no sacrifice greater than just grinding and having that success. I mean, if you ever won a title or won a tournament or won a league title, like just the feeling, you know, I just tell them, if you really want to do this and it's something that you really believe in, you got to be a sponge. You got to outwork people and just learn everything. There's nothing wrong about learning. You should be learning from different coaches. I always hear, oh, this style is wrong or this style is this. No, everyone has a style. You know, I love coaches that can change their style and can be different with who they are when they are. I always respected guys that did that. So now I would tell a young person coming up, try to work every camp you can, try to get in practices, try to read every book a coach wrote, get on YouTube, watch game film. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy as hell, man, but at night sometimes I'll just throw on a YouTube and I'll watch videos so I fall asleep. That's just kind of what I do, man. It just calms me and it helps me keep grinding and getting better at what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Coach Ward the same thing. I asked other coaches and other people, and Coach Hernando Planels. I mean, all of you guys pretty much echo the same type of message. So that's about it, brother. Before I let you go, do you have anything else off the top of your head that you wanna say? Any messages? Any other shout outs?
Oh man, I'd like to thank Coach Ward for warming this show up so they can bring the real superstar on. Love you, Coach Ward. No, man, just thank you, man. You know, you're a real friend. You know, you're like a brother to me. You know, we've been through a lot in our lives together. It's been fun to watch us each get married and have some kids and get houses and be grown up. So just the opportunity to watch you keep shining and keep doing cool new things, bringing me on board. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this. You know, can't wait to see the kids and get back to some normalcy. So Legoland one day, our family's here we come again.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, thanks for your time. Tell your family and the boys we love them. Give them a hug and kiss for us. I love you, brother. Thank you for taking that time. You be safe. Finish off the work week and have a great evening. All right.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. So that was our guest today on Inside the Playbook with Coach David March. Great guy. Check him out. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him at Max Preps. The information in the video description will be posted once we stop going live and gets posted to YouTube. Check him out. I hope and wish that he has a great season this season once they start playing. and everybody else and all the other coaches as well. So until next time, thank you for tuning in Inside the Playbook with our next guest next week with Coach Lloyd Webster. So tune in for that one. That's going to be next Thursday. Until then, be safe and God bless.